Football, I mean, it's technical. It's more teams playing different formations. They all want to pass the ball. You know, we went over there with a real clear idea of how we want to play football for this club. And this club, when we took over this club was not very good. Not very good. They were very unfit. And the previous coaches obviously left them very, very unfit. Mentally very weak. Results would have told you that. I think the previous year they only won 3 games. They let in 70, 80 goals. Too many. So, you know, you take over these clubs and you have a job to do. And what we did say when we first went in is we will leave this club in a much greater state than when we received it. And as the pandemic come, we created the strongest team in Australia. We undefeated, nobody wanted to play us. And we left the club in the playoffs. And in the end, the club were not great. I think I spoke to the club once in 4 months. The club's way of dealing with things wasn't very professional, should I say. And in the end, they sacked us. So we got sacked. So I think we're the only coaching staff to be sacked for doing a very good job. Normally you get sacked for doing a bad job. We've done a very good job and got sacked. So, you know, at the moment, we are speaking with FIFA and we will see where it goes.
The VAR Show. The one place for your weekly football update.
Hola, very warm welcome to the VAR Show. The show which talks about all various major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to continue the theme of interviews and we have Mr. Tony Grant with us. So Tony has played for the likes of Everton and Manchester City among a host of other clubs and has also been involved in coaching post his playing career with Brisbane Rovers FC in the A-League being his latest endeavour. So without wasting much time, I would like to first thank Tony for coming on the show. Thank you and welcome to the show. And I would like to begin by asking you, how are you and what are you doing these days?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking me. It's good to have a conversation with different people. As I say, we come back from Australia and the pandemic was on, so football came to a halt globally. So now it was a good time to reflect and to really evaluate the previous work, and that's what I've been doing. I've been reflecting and evaluating and creating something new and exciting for the future.
Definitely, and of course, it's not a very good thing to get a break because of such a pandemic, but it is useful if you have a break. But I'll talk about you, like, you know, you have been involved in your playing career and also after your playing career with a lot of big clubs, you know, in and around the Premier League and also in Australia. How has the journey been for you as a whole?
Yeah, as I say, I'm from a place called Liverpool, which is football is all this city has. We have 2 great clubs in Everton, who I play for, and Liverpool, 2 very big clubs. So I left school and joined Everton, play in the Premier League, play in the FA Cup finals, play in Europe, and then I go on and play for Manchester City. And then I play for Burnley, all big clubs. And as I go on this journey, I get older. You get older and you get wiser, yeah. And you can't play football as good anymore. So I go into coaching, and I start coaching youth boys. So I coach at Blackburn Rovers, and we're very successful in developing and creating pathways for the youngsters. And then it just evolved, and I become the first team boys with the men. And it's very similar way of talking to people and respect is a huge thing. You know, you got to give these youngsters, these young boys need respect the same way as the elders need respect. So, you know, it was a great learning and it was a great time, really.
Definitely, and in terms of management, and you are currently with Brisbane Rovers in A League, where you did enjoy relative success in the short span you were there with Robbie. And how is football in Australia?
Yeah, it's football. I mean, it's technical. It's more teams playing different formations. They all want to pass the ball. You know, we went over there with a real clear idea of how we want to play football for this club. And this club, when we took over this club was not very good. Not very good. They were very unfit. And the previous coaches obviously left them very, very unfit. Mentally very weak. Results would have told you that. I think the previous year they only won 3 games. They let in 70, 80 goals. Too many. So, you know, you take over these clubs and you have a job to do. And what we did say when we first went in is we will leave this club in a much greater state than when we received it. And as the pandemic come, we created the strongest team in Australia. We undefeated, nobody wanted to play us. And we left the club in the playoffs. And in the end, the club were not great. I think I spoke to the club once in 4 months. The club's way of dealing with things wasn't very professional, should I say. And in the end, they sacked us. So we got sacked. So I think we're the only coaching staff to be sacked for doing a very good job. Normally you get sacked for doing a bad job. We've done a very good job and got sacked. So, you know, at the moment, we are speaking with FIFA and we will see where it goes.
Definitely. And like you said, you had an ideology or philosophy that you all wanted to implement when you went there. And you and, of course, Robbie have been involved with the more higher quality of maybe footballers in terms of intelligence or the game, how they see in England. How difficult is it to go and implement the similar style to Australia, where you said that the level of football was not that good or the fitness was not that good? How difficult was it to implement your ideology?
It's not difficult. You can translate it anywhere. You have lots of coaches from different countries who will see the game in the Barcelona way. Okay. But you'll see plenty of teams try it and fail and fail and fail. You know, what we implemented was a system that enables any of the players to improve. It doesn't put humongous pressure on them. Anyone can get fit. You have to want to get fit, but anyone can get fit. That's normal for life. So that's an easy one to get them fit. To buy into our environment and our culture, well, that's your man management. And because we both understand football, we are able to create an environment where players enjoy playing football. Then the way we play football is we like to keep the ball. We like to keep the ball and move the ball. Now, all these players can do this all over the world. They can all do it. They need guidance. They need guidance and they need to understand why we're keeping it and where we're going to go with it and what's the reason for keeping it. You know, and this is what we explain. We explain the reasons of why we're doing something and what it looks like when you're successful at doing this. And this is a template that any kids in the world can do. Any teams, any affiliations. They don't need to learn the tiki-taka football. They don't need it because it's not real. It's not going to happen for them. They're not going to be successful with it. So this way is a way of being successful. And it works.
Definitely, and I'll go back to the beginning again, and in terms of a career, after your playing time was up, you moved into coaching. Was it something you always envisioned, or was it something spontaneous in your career?
Yeah, as a footballer, I was a football thinker. I wasn't a runner. I was all about the ball and about movement and angles and distances. So I was always thinking about the game. And as I got a little bit older in my career, I realised I am better served now to teach people, to coach people, to help them. And that was my calling. My calling was to go and be a coach. So it sort of happened naturally.
Definitely, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have that opinion that suppose if you are a defender when you are during your playing days, your coaching philosophy will be kind of like you will see the game that way, like, as a defender. Is it true like that? Something like that?
Explain again. Explain.
Like a player who's being transitioned into a coach, his
Yeah,
or her philosophies will revolve around the position he played as a player.
possibly. When I became a youth coach, I inherit all these young boys who want to be footballers. They are age 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 18. And they all play in many positions. My philosophy is my philosophy, but I also have an understanding and a real deep knowledge of every position and what's going to help you get to the next stage, whether you be a fullback, whether you be a centre back, whether you be a goalkeeper. We have an understanding. How we get there is a journey, and every player is different. So we have to treat every player differently and give them the tools to help them have a chance to go on and have a career. So even though I might have been a midfielder, I still understand everyone's position and I understand what it takes to get to the next level.
Definitely, and I'll move on from that, and before you all went to Brisbane, and you said like how they were in a losing streak. How do you maybe turn the mentality around in the dressing room?
Yeah, and that's a good question. You know, this team was getting beat heavily every week. So the first day we go in, the players don't know us. We speak to the players. Okay. We create a bubble. We create a bubble around our training ground, and we enhance that bubble with the support staff, the analysts. We bring them all in, and we have a clear way of playing football. And we now have to make the players believe this way. Behind all that, we have the fitness program that we brought over. And we brought a fitness program over, which was highly successful, which proved with no injuries, no muscle injuries, and the players were fitter. We have a stat for the last 30 minutes of every game. Brisbane Raw were the strongest and fittest than any team in the league. And that was an amazing stat. So it's created by the program of work that we set out, which me and the manager have set out from day one. And it's followed. Now and again it changes, but not much. And that's followed. And in the end, the players come into training with a big smile. They work extremely hard, but they understand everything we're trying to do. And that's the key. Don't have your players come in, work hard, go home, but tuck nothing through here. They have to understand it. They have to understand the process of what we're trying to do. And that's key.
Definitely, and when you say you have to make the player understand of the process that you're doing, and you have players who have just gotten into the team. They are young, and some of them are veterans. How difficult is it to convince maybe a youngster to a veteran to buy into your philosophy?
It's very easy, and it's the same. You ask them. Growing up, lots of coaches used to tell you all the time, tell you. No. Now ask the question. Ask the player, does he understand? Okay. Bring the player into your coach's room. Show him on the video. Show him the reasons why you're talking about it. After the first game, show him the examples of what you're talking about. So create this trust. Create this trust. As long as it's the correct information, as long as your coach is really clear, then the player will understand whether he's young or whether he's old. No problem.
Definitely. And moving on from that, I wanted to get a more lighter topic. And since you have been involved in management for quite a while, what is the biggest myth related to management?
The biggest
myth?
The thing with management, when you're developing kids, when you're developing youth, there's not much pressure on a coach because you're just developing. And all them kids need now is an opportunity. So your pressure comes down from speaking to the managers. Can you give my player an opportunity? That's that pressure. When you come to first team football, every game you have pressure because you have to win. You have to win. We don't want to lose. We need to win. But we need to show how we play. And if we get beat, at least we get beat in a certain manner. We have to win. So your pressure comes every week. With developing, totally different. Totally different. More time to relax, and your times are all about the players. And now your pressure comes, can we get them an opportunity with the first team? So once you step onto the other side, once you step onto first team football, especially in the UK, once you step into that pressure, results is key. Number one is results. Number two is how you play. That's
Definitely. It. And staying with similar theme, and since you have been involved in so many clubs, like in your management career, so what do you look for in a club before signing?
So as a coach, when you're signing players, the first thing we look for is personality and attitude. Personality, attitude. Technical, physical. Technical, physical. Social. So we look at all these ideas, and then we also look at players who we know are good players, and maybe they've struggled, but we believe we can make them better players. So there's players out there who have potential, but have never shown nobody it. And they're sometimes the players who we can bring in, and we can coach them and get that potential out. So, you are looking for potential, but you're also looking for good people, but people who have good technical abilities, good tactical abilities, good physical abilities. These are all great components. And then positional play. Each position will demand a different type of attribute. A holding centre midfielder might not need to be as fast running physically, but he might need to be mentally cleverer. So he's mentally clever, he understands the tactical side of the game, whereas different players might need to be more physical. So, it's understanding the positions and how you want to play football for when you're bringing first team players in.
Definitely. And moving on from that, and you have worked in multiple capacities in the coaching world, maybe scouting, assistant, coaching, whatever. So how different are the roles in terms of work pressure, and which one on a personal level did you enjoy the most?
I enjoy coaching the most. I enjoy coaching the youth. I enjoy coaching the men. I enjoy making players better. I enjoy making players smile. I enjoy making players work hard. I get great satisfaction when I see improvement. I have lots of examples of first team players training and coaching with me, then going on to the Premier League. Lots of examples. And that makes me proud. So coaching is the key element for me.
Definitely. And you know, like you said, coaching is the key, and like that you like. And what is your coaching philosophy like? You know, like how do you see football being played?
I believe a team needs to dominate the ball in certain areas. I believe in improving individuals. I believe in having a clear philosophy, identity of play. I believe in the players understanding it. I believe in the environment. I believe in playing in the opposition's half with the ball. And we give time for players to be inventive. We want them to be inventive in the right areas. So the whole process from start to finish is all done on the training ground. It's all done in the classroom. And it's a long process. It's the only way to really make them truly understand of how this team has to play football. It can't be done in a 1 hour training session. It has to be done all day and evenings. It has to be done all the time until they truly believe it.
Definitely. And you know, like staying with the same theme, do you have any coach or coaches right now whom you are influenced by or whose work you like?
Well, I mean, it's common knowledge. We all love Pep Guardiola, don't we? We all love Pep. And we see what Jurgen does at Liverpool. We've seen them two managers coach totally different ways. They see football a different way. But they are highly successful. They win trophies. They win. If none of them ever won, then nobody would like them. But they win. So they win with that philosophy, and he wins with this philosophy. But they win. And that is the key. You have to win. If you have a philosophy and you keep getting beat, you need to change your philosophy. You need to change it. So you need to win. And they both play football different ways, but they're winners. So them two guys, I think, very, very good.
Definitely. And you know, like you have had, you have traveled far and wide with regards to football. And what is the most bizarre situation or scenario that you have ever faced?
I'll be honest with you, I cannot think. I have not had many bizarre. Most of my career, you see, I've played at a really good level, and everywhere we've gone, things are done for you. So I've got no story for you.
Surely, that's not a problem at all. So I'll move on. And you know, like you touched on a topic that how you are in talks with FIFA, with how you and Robbie had quite a good success, but were sacked, you know, like for doing good work. So could you shed some light on the topic as to what happened, if it's comfortable for you?
Well, all I can tell you really is I was technical director of that club, and me and the manager from day one probably worked harder than anyone's ever worked at that club. Considering we took over a team with a small budget, a team who had let so many goals in. So a team we created and became the strongest team in Australia. And then we left. And then in 4 months, I received one email in 4 months, just one. And to this day now, I still did not know what was going on. No one's ever told me. All I know is I was sacked. And I still don't know. Now, I don't know if clubs are hiding behind COVID as a reason. I don't know what they're doing. No one's ever told me. So I now pass this matter on to other parties because I left my home for 2 years, no family, to go to a different country, and to receive one email in 4 months is not very good. It's not very professional. It's not nice, and other stuff has gone on. And I have morals. I'm a professional guy, and now it's onto a matter of other people now to talk about.
Definitely, and I'll touch on the TD part. And you said you were a technical director. Were you involved in coaching also, like in that role, or were you only the technical director?
I was the lead coach, so the manager and then me. So every day, me and the manager we have a program. We knew what we were doing. I would then confront all the coaches of the morning and tell them what their jobs and their roles are, what we expect, and what outcome we want. And then I would lead the coaching. So my main role was coaching.
So also staying with the technical director part, what is the most difficult part of being a technical director for a club?
Every club's different. Every club's different. The technical director for one club is a totally different role as a technical director for another club. So, in this role, it was to help create the environment, to put a coaching program, to help recruitment and recruit the right people for this club. And as I say before, this club was a very poor club when we took over. It had players who were refusing to train. And now they have a club where players are looked forward to go into training. It's a full turnaround. So as I say, TDs at other clubs are different. When I was a coach at Blackburn, I would work with the first team boys, and then I would understand about the transition for the youth players up to the first team. So that role is an evolving role. It's quite a big role. Brisbane's was more about just the first team.
Definitely. And going into the future, is TD a capacity that you would like to do again, or is it just coaching that you want to stick to?
No, as you get older, there's different facets of football. There's different associations that need help. So where the next road takes us, I'm not sure at the moment. As I say, we're a little bit different than most UK coaches. That we have a profile. We have a high profile. The manager's got a high profile. But we love countries. We love different football and different cultures, and we know we can improve wherever we go. So whoever we take over, we will make them better. That's what we will do. We will make them better. We will make the staff better. We will make the players better, and we make the club better and bigger. So, we just wait now and find out where the next stage is.
Definitely. And moving on maybe to a more lighter topic, and you've had an illustrious career as a player and also now as a coach and various capacities. What is the most proud moment that you have had in your career?
Yeah, well, as a player, I was playing for my team, Everton. So I was a young boy. I used to go and watch them every week, and then I get to play for them. So that was very proud. And then as a coach, I was very proud when my team at Blackburn won the league. They won the league against all the big teams, against the Manchester Cities, the Manchester Uniteds, the Evertons, the Liverpools. But my team, Blackburn Rovers, win the league. That was very, very proud. And then I was proud with going to Australia and the job we'd done. That was very proud. So there's lots of moments in my career which make you proud to be a coach or a player. And they are just some of them. They're just some.
Definitely. And since you have had so much experience, as a coach, if you had to give a piece of advice to a young coach, what advice would you give that person?
If a coach has a chance to listen, to watch other coaches, to absorb to keep watching football, to have a clear idea of how he sees the game, to understand every player is an individual player, and his job is to try and improve every player. If a coach can really understand his role, and his role is to improve individuals. If his role becomes bigger and he has more of a say on the team, now he has to improve the players and now collectively as a team. But does he know where he's going? So he has to really understand himself and how he sees the game. And then be clear. Be clear. When you're speaking to a boy, a man, be clear. So that player knows exactly. That player's not unsure. He knows exactly what you're asking. And then an agreement. Let them players respect you. You respect them. And, you know, be an open coach. Be an open coach. Learn, listen, watch, observe. But know where you're going. You have to know where you're going. And the top of it is the players are number one. Improve your players. The players who aren't playing, the players who are on the bench, go and improve them. Make them better players. And if you can get to a stage where your players don't miss your training sessions, where your players come in with a smile on their face and they work really hard, you know you're doing something right.
Definitely, and I think that will be a very good advice for many coaches, you know, like young coaches. So I just wanted to ask one question, okay? It just popped up, and you are a Everton, I think, through and through. When will Everton win Liverpool in a Merseyside derby next?
Well, I have a crystal ball in the house, and it's just told me that next season, Everton will win the next derby game.
Hopefully, they don't lose against a substandard Liverpool team like they did this year in the FA Cup.
Very good, very good. Maybe.
So, you know, like on that note, I'll ask you one final question, you know, and this is quite controversial, more controversial than maybe anything you have faced.
Before you ask, what team do you support?
I support Liverpool.
I knew you were going to say that. Everyone in the world supports Liverpool.
I've been supporting them for quite a while. You know, it's been a very tough period, and it's nothing compared to what Everton fans probably go through. But yeah, it is quite good. Like, you know, I think.
Well, last question. Go on.
Yeah. So I'll move on from that, and you know, like, if you are a coach and if you had to sign one of these two players, whom would you sign, Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Why?
It's a very hard question, isn't it? It's a very hard question because when you have to make a choice, it sounds like a disrespect for one when it's not, because you only give me a choice. The choice is that or that. Do I like red or do I like blue? Do I like Messi? Do I like Ronaldo? Well, I want both, but I can't have both. Messi, when he first came on the scene, not Messi now, when Messi first came under Pep's team, when he was playing with Iniesta, when he was playing with Xavi, when he had these players around him, Messi, in my opinion, is the most intelligent footballer. One of the most intelligent footballers I've seen. Technically, we all know, superb. Ronaldo, physically superb, technically superb, scores goals. They both score goals. It's a very tough decision. But in my philosophy, Messi from 10 years ago, even though he's still unbelievably good now, but Messi from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, is the ideal player for me.
Definitely, and you know, like, of course, both are very good players in their own rights, and probably are one of the greatest of all times. And you can put a case for both of them, actually.
Both of them, yeah, of course.
So, you know, like, on that note, Tony, thank you so much for talking to me, and I wish you all the best for your future. Hope whatever we are going through gets sorted, and hope you can get back to coaching and whatever role and future endeavors you have. And thank you once again for coming. Take care, stay safe. Bye.
I really enjoyed it, and thank you for asking.
And hope Everton win soon.
No problem. No problem. Cheerio.